Welcome to my series based on Zentangle's Bijou Be Well, done in May 2025. Each day, Zentangle put out a video featuring one pattern, and the design was meant to be drawn in a short amount of time, so you could just take a little time for yourself and kind of get yourself centered. I encourage you to go visit their YouTube channel. I'll have the link down in the comments, and you could see how they did their designs. This series is meant to walk you through how to draw each design, and then also to give you some alternative ideas for embellishments and ways to kind of zhuzh up that pattern. Today we're going to talk about Tidal. For all cards in this series, I used the same tools, so you will see in every single video in this series a blue Micron 05 pen, a General's Indigo blue chalk pastel pencil, an 8B graphite pencil, two Tortillons, so one for blue, one for black, and white tiles. And of course, that's my trusty little pencil sharpener there as well. If you followed along with the Zentangle series, you will notice that they also include a white pencil and a Tortillon for that. I chose to not use those for my series because I'm using a white tile, and I find that the white chalk pastel pencil really doesn't add very much to the design. Take a moment to gather your tools, get yourself centered, make sure you're sitting comfortably in your chair. When you're ready, let's begin. In this series, we start all designs with the same string. We aren't going to draw the border. We're just going to draw a seed shape that goes from one corner to the other corner diagonally. So begin along one of the long edges of your seed shape, and you're going to draw a little hump shape, a little ladybug shape. And then you're going to go right next door to it and draw another one. And then you're just going to repeat that process until you get down to the point of your seed shape. And then fill in the other side. Once you get one row done, you're going to come, and now you're going to fit the ladybug shapes in between. So you're going to start in the middle of one of the ones in that first row and go to the middle of its neighbor. And then repeat that process until you get to the end of the row. When I start each row, I start in the middle. This kind of ensures that I can get even spacing instead of starting at one end and then ending up with like maybe some things that are a little uneven. For me, having that shape in the middle allows me to kind of get a sense as to how big I need to make each shape in the row and keep them consistent. So now I'm just going to continue adding those ladybug shapes until I get to the top. So for me, I'm going to have at least one more row after this, but depending on how thick you made your seed shape, you might end up with only 3 rows or maybe 4 or 5 rows. As I approach the other side of the string, so the other long edge, I will start drawing partials. So I'm going to use my string as a hard and fast boundary. I'm not going to go beyond that string. So if that means, like in the case of that one where I draw most of the shape but not all of it, that's okay. I want to make sure that I do not go beyond the string for this particular pattern. Once I've completed filling in my seed shape, I'm going to add fescue as my little embellishment. And I'm starting with the second row of Tidal. I'm leaving that first row blank. And so what I'm doing, fescue is a pattern unto itself, but often used as embellishment like I'm doing here. And it's just 3 little lines in this case with a tiny little dot at the top of each. So they don't have to be straight lines. They don't have to be perfect lines. You can make them wavy. You can make each line different, or you could make each set close to being the same. And I'm going to continue with that until I fill all of my little Tidal shapes. And when I get again to the top, I'm going to do little partials. So I'm not going to go past the string line. Once I'm done with the fescue, it is time to put the pen down and pick up the Indigo chalk pastel pencil. Once again, I'm starting with my second row and just ignoring the ones that are like right along that front edge. And I'm going to use the chalk pastel to cast a shadow, but then also to add some color. So you can see here I am putting a fairly thick and dark line of chalk pastel right into that V, and then I blend it out and I leave the top part, at least some of that top part, white to create a highlight. So I'm going to march right through each of these shapes and do exactly that. So I usually do it kind of in bulk, so I just go through, put all the pencil down first, and then I go back with my Tortillon and I blend it out. So each one's going to be a little different, but I'm aiming for having a nice kind of deep shadow right there at the point of the V, and then eventually having like a little bit of a highlight at the top. The little partials at the top will end up being mostly blue when I'm done with it. I'm not worrying so much about the having a highlight or anything like that. I'm just kind of filling that little space in with the blue. For today's design, I'm using my graphite pencil only to bring out the border a little bit more. So I'm just going over my string line and darkening it a little bit. And then I'm going to blend it out and just kind of fuzz that. Make it look almost like the card is like coming apart and this pattern is starting to kind of emerge from it. The final step, of course, is to admire our work and appreciate the fact that we took a little bit of time for ourselves to draw. And after that, add your chop. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for more videos in this series. I will be dropping a new one every few days. Happy tangling!